Perfect.
Take one.
Take one. All right. We're at Rut Camp. First annual Rut Camp.
Yeah, buddy.
At Ethan's cabin in Potter County. That's all we're giving you. We're not telling you exactly where we're at. We're in Potter. It's pretty big, so
good luck.
Good luck. But you got Ethan.
Hello.
You got Drew.
Hello.
You got Jeff.
Hello.
And you got myself, Cody. Ethan took off. Ethan, well, how about you just start off? Because apparently you wanted to get something down before anyone else even showed up other than your dad.
Yeah, because I brought the shotgun, okay? And I knew, and I wasn't going to tell you. I knew you knew anyway, Cody. You knew I was going to.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to tell anyone. I wanted to go shoot some squirrels. I wanted to go shoot some grouse. But in order to do that,
I jumped a grouse actually today.
Oh. Yeah, I saw one all puffed up. They're deer, buck are not the only thing rutted up.
Yeah.
The grouse are also all puffed up and ready
puffy.
to go.
Puffy this time of year.
Oh yeah, they're all puffy. I was like, in order to do that, I need to get a deer down.
Yep, it's true.
So I hunted hard for 3 days. And on the third day, I was good. Made it happen. But
that's the end of the story, right?
And that's
there.
it.
That's it.
That's it. It's all you get. You'll see pictures later. It's fine. No. No. I got up here November 3rd, Sunday. Just getting the cabin ready, doing everything, and kind of planned out. Okay, here, this is where I want to go. Monday, check it out. So I had a camera that's been soaking since opening day of archery that I found. I jumped a deer. I don't know if it was a buck or doe. I'm only assuming a buck because when I went down to where that deer was, there was a super fresh rub. I mean, the tree was still like leaking with fluids. The shavings were on the ground fresh. Like it was white still. Like there was no time for it to age.
Yeah. So
I made a mock scrape, hung a trail camera over it. My mock scrape didn't do anything. So there was nothing touched it. It's like I never made one. But I went there Monday and I ended up jumping. I jumped a deer in some thick stuff on the way down. I jumped a deer that was further down from the camera. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up seeing one I thought was a doe in heat running. Okay. I remember you yelled at me, Cody. You're like, get off your phone and go up to that deer. I'm like, because I'm standing.
He's texting me. He's like, I think I just jumped the dome.
Really?
I think she's in heat. I think she's being chased. I'm like, why are you texting me this? Like in my mind, I'm like, don't text me this. Just go up there.
Go get it. But I checked the camera, and there was three legal deer, 3 legal buck on camera. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll hunt here. Didn't see anything after that doe. I'm assuming his doe ran off. Went back Tuesday. I was like, I got to go further down because I feel like they're coming out of. The buck are staying below. What you call it? A shelterwood cut? Is that what that's called?
Are you talking about where your camera's at?
The skinny trees.
Yeah, shelterwood.
They're called shelterwood cuts. The doe were bedded up in there because I jumped several doe that were laying down opening day of archery walking through there. Right. I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's thick. They can hear and see everything coming before it even gets there. Mm-hmm. The buck are going to come downwind of this.
Yep.
So that's where I wanted to go. So I went and I walked. Oh my gosh. I walked total probably 5 miles. But by the end of the day, didn't see a single thing. I was dead. And I found a spot, and I was like, I thought it was perfect. I found this scrape that was fresh, and it was like bigger than this fire ring that's right here.
Pretty big scrape, I think.
Yeah, and fresh. There was no leaves in it. You could see the hoof prints still.
Yeah.
And a couple older, smaller scrapes like leading up to it, rubs, and actually, when the first time I saw it this whole time, poop. Deer poop. Mm-hmm. I never see deer poop up here.
I didn't see any today.
There's like none. I don't understand.
I think they're just constipated. They just walk around. They don't poop.
They have to, or they have one select or they just poop in the creek or something. And then
they have actual toilets in the woods that we don't know about.
Yeah, those outhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, the abandoned outhouses. Yeah, the deer are using them.
Close the door.
Close the door. But I ended up setting up downwind of that scrape, where I think on a ledge, where I thought Buck would travel to go. And
we're still on the side where your camera was.
No, we're on a different
side.
Yeah, we're further, way further down at this point.
Okay.
But I didn't see nothing anyway.
Yeah.
I definitely want to put cameras down there because the ledge I was on, there was rubs leading up into the Shelterwood Cut. There's a trail coming out of it, which is the exact same direction that whatever buck made those scrapes would have came.
Okay.
And then there's another ledge below that one
where
I found an actual trail, and there was an actual scrape with a licking branch that was fairly fresh, maybe made overnight. Because the licking branch, usually, when they're old, the end of the sticks, they turn like black.
Yep.
This was still white.
Yeah.
Like fresh wood.
Twisted up, kind of. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that happened maybe last night.
Yeah.
But they're traveling. So I want to get cameras down there at some point and see, who's strolling through.
Yeah.
So after I came back Tuesday, took my Advil PM, passed out by 8:30. I woke up at 6 o'clock, and I still didn't know. I was like, I don't know where to go.
Right.
Like, I kind of want to go back to this spot. Maybe they're there in the morning. I don't know. But I left later. Yeah. Probably I should have, but I did.
But you didn't know where you'd go.
But I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah. So I was kind of like scouting, hunting my way in. But driving the way up, I'm looking over to my left, and I see a group of 4 doe. And they're maybe 125 yards off the road. And just me driving up spooked them.
Right.
And I watched them jump over the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe 200 yards from the parking spot, Dad, like where we drug him out today? Yeah. Maybe 200 yards from the parking spot.
Yeah.
So I just drove to the parking lot, parked, pulled up on X. I put on the slope angle feature. And I was like, okay, I marked it. Doe jumped here. They went over here because once they went over the ledge, you couldn't see them. And I'm looking, and I've never been to this spot. I've never even thought about going down this area. So I'm looking. I was like, this looks like just a travel corridor because up here it's just your fingers. Their mountains are fingers. They're everywhere. Yep. But this area looked like where they would travel between the fingers. I was like, they got to be down. If they were coming up, and I spooked them back down. Yep. They're gonna come back up. Yeah. At some point, someone is. So I took my time, and it was supposed to rain later that morning. But I worked my way down. Found one scrape. Worked my way down from there, and I found the spot. And I'm looking. I was like, okay, I jumped the doe from up here. There's a point going out here, and it gets kind of thick. The ravine's off to this side, and I can see a couple trails where I'm standing. I was like, they go through here. I'm just going to pick it. I said, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm picking a tree.
Which is very hard to do.
Yes.
In a lot of situations.
Because I'm like, what? Because I was overthinking so many things, even on Tuesday. Like, do I want to set up here? Do I want to keep walking? It was just, I got a headache.
So I need that Advil PM, right?
Oh, that Advil PM helps so much. More than, my head hurt, my legs hurt, everything.
Yeah.
But I said, this tree right here. I saw a couple rubs. I was like, all right, I know they travel in here. Up a tree I went. Started raining around 8:30. Wasn't heavy, but just enough to everything you could walk, and it wasn't going to crunch. Yep. I wasn't soaked. Didn't get cold. So we're good. That stopped by, 10? Yeah. By at least 10 o'clock, I think it stopped. Yeah. By 10:30, I think around 10:30 or so, I hear this noise. I wish I could describe it to you guys. Yeah. I can't even imitate it. It was I was kind of scared because I'm like, I planned on sitting there until it got dark. Right. And I'm like, I'm not super, I was just under a mile away from my car. It sounded, okay, so you know the sirens that go off when they open up the floodgates for a dam, that's like that long, drawn-out siren? Yep. Okay. Think of that tone, a little more high-pitched, but 2-3 seconds long.
Oh, I actually I know what that is. I know it sound was grunt type thing.
I don't
like a high pitched grunt.
If it was very like high pitched. It kind of spooked me a little bit.
That's what actually. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Okay.
It's just when buck do that, when they get very irritated that a doe's not giving in to him, and they do.
That makes sense now.
Like they get like really pissed off, pretty much.
That makes sense
because she's not bedding down and not like letting him do his thing, pretty much. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So that happened, and I can't because I'm looking. I was like, because where I set up, there's like a little hump.
Yeah.
And it came from the other side, or at least in that general area. I was like, well, no. And I hear leaves rustling at some point, and then I heard what sounded like the worst imitation of an elephant. That's the best way I can describe it.
They got elephants up here in Potter.
Yeah, it was sounding, and I'm like, what was that? And it clicked. I don't know why or how, but it clicked. Snort wheeze.
Oh yeah,
that came right to my head,
okay.
and it proved me right because within 2-3 seconds of me realizing that, I could hear that on the other side of the ridge. I was like, "Oh shit! There's a buck chasing a doe right now." I grabbed that crossbow so quick I didn't even see him. I could just hear him.
Yeah.
And then because the wind was coming over that hump, hitting me in the face, and then going down into the valley.
Was like 10...
30.
So thermals,
roughly?
With that rain, thermals would still be rising then at that point, right? Like with the moisture kind of be sucking it down anyway.
Yeah, because the wind was coming, and the wind was in my favor.
Yeah.
But then with the rain that came, any scent was gone at that point anyway.
Yep.
So I was like, oh shit, and I'm like, what do I do? Because I can't see them, and they're chasing. Because then it got quiet for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
For it seemed longer, but I'm sure it was probably only like 10 seconds. But it seemed longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And then out of nowhere, I'm looking, and probably about 40 yards away, this doe just comes crashing up over top.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, 20, 30 yards behind her, here comes a buck. She comes up, she's about 40 yards away, and then just disappears over the hump again. Buck follows. I was like, oh. I'm like excited, but like, shit, come here. Like, come this way. And then I was like, because I kept trying to think in my head, like, okay, what do I do? I have never been in this situation before where I'm in a tree, there's a buck chasing a doe.
You're in it.
And I'm in it.
You're in it.
I'm like, what do I do? I said, okay, what if they go away? Do I get down? Do I go over to the other side of the hump? Or I just get down and just kind of run over there. Like, I don't know what... Or do I
like
just...
a buck chasing
Yeah, like a buck chasing a doe. I'm like, I'm the buck chasing the buck that's chasing a doe. Like, what do I... Just start making grunt noises as I'm running through the woods. Like, I'm not sure what to do at this point.
That'd be comical if there's a guy in a tree stand that could see all this happening. And you just see Ethan like...
Somebody else doing a video.
Yes. I would be like, please send me that because I will laugh at this forever. But I was like, I'm just going to sit because I don't know what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. She comes back out of that exact same spot. And instead of going back over the hump, she's coming down towards me. So I'm like, all right, time to get ready. I mean, safety's off. I'm up, and she runs. I mean, they were 10, 15 yards from the tree.
From your tree?
From my tree. They were not even 10, 15
yards.
So
when you first saw them chasing... Could you tell he was a legal buck at that moment? Like, did you get any kind of glimpse of him at that moment?
Oh, yeah, I could just see rack above it. I was like, oh, if he doesn't have 3 points on the side, he's the biggest 4-point or the largest spike I have ever seen in the existence of deer.
Yes.
And then he's coming. I mean, she was moving.
Yeah.
And then, so he's coming, and I'm looking on the right side of the tree, and I just go, merp, merp. It paid no mind to me at all. He keeps going. So I have to go to the left side of the tree now. I got the freaking tether, the safety harness attached. I'm ducking underneath it, trying to get the crossbow back over. And I give him another, just like, merp, merp, and he's not paying attention. I'm going to move the microphone from my face. I go, merp, Like, I screamed at him, and he stops.
Yeah.
But he's facing away from me still.
Yeah.
I mean, crosshairs are on him, waiting for him to turn sideways, but he's facing away because he's still focused on that doe. But he heard me this time.
Mm-hmm.
He turns sideways, but like trots.
Yeah.
So I did the exact same thing. Essentially yelled at him with a MERP. He stops 30 yards because I pre-range everything.
Yep.
When I'm sitting up there just to see what where my shooting lanes are, where's my max limit, essentially. Yep. He's at 30 yards, but all of his vitals are behind a tree. I was like, oh my God. I could see his head, perfect. I can see his ass, perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is covered. And I'm like, he takes 2 steps, he's dead.
Yeah.
And I had the crosshairs where his heart would have been if he took those 2 steps.
Yep.
Because he's not looking up. He's like looking down. His head's
down
facing down the valley. He's like perfect broadside.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, I heard the noise over here.
Yep.
The doe's over there. What do I do?
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do. He took those 2 steps. I didn't even hesitate. I just pulled the trigger because the crosshairs came to that heart. Pulled the trigger. It hit him. It sounded like a masterpiece. Just pop. He ran. Just pop. He ran 30 yards.
Yeah.
And then he stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching him. And then, because I think he's looking up at the doe, wherever she was, and he's just standing there, and then just topples over. The second he topples over, adrenaline rush. I'm like, holy shit, I just shot him. I'm hanging up the crossbow, not trying to fall out of the tree. I don't have any cell service at this moment. Yep. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta call people. I think that's the fastest I've ever tore down my setup. Ever.
You tore your setup down?
Oh, I tore everything down. Because I'm like, okay, I still want to give him time.
Yeah.
But I want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Because I got to call someone.
Yeah.
So I tore everything down, packed everything out. I had it marked anyway on OnX, so I knew exactly where to go. I took a different route instead of going straight to the car because I would have went to him. I went up to the road and then up to my car. Second I got to the car, I called my wife. Of course, she's at work, so she didn't answer. Left her a voicemail. Probably didn't make any sense. I called my dad, who's down here at the cabin, and he's like, dude, what? And I was like,
dude, what?
Dude, what?
Why would I be calling you?
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't even tell him I shot anything right. I said, you got to get up here now. That was the first words.
Hang up.
That was the first words.
If you would have heard that phone conversation, I answered the phone. I had just come back. I was in my blind, and I just came back because I had to do some things in the cabin. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there, and the phone goes off, and I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he's either coming back down or he got something.
Yeah.
And first thing I heard was, Dad, what are you doing? I got a buck. I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? He says, you gotta come up. I'm
gonna need you for this one.
Yeah, I drove up to where he was, and it was just funny because it was like, I know he's down there, and the only thing I'm thinking is how far do I got to drag this damn thing. And it was maybe a good hour drag. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we would stop like every 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I got to sit down at the tree and take a breather.
Yeah, I put that to work today.
We finally got him up on the road, and he's a nice
he's very
nice guy.
Very nice buck.
Yep.
But yeah, so then went up down. So the bolt is still in the woods somewhere. We couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. Didn't see a lot of blood at first. Like, I knew where he was, so like I wasn't worried about finding blood because I know exactly where he just.
You saw him drop.
I saw him topple over.
He bled out right where he dropped because there was a big pile of blood, maybe a foot away, 2 foot away from him.
The shot was honestly, like, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but it was a literally perfect shot.
You deserve to brag, though.
I'm bragging a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was.
I was going to say, we need to put another log on that fire.
But it was a
My hands are
perfect
freezing.
through. I mean, he was perfect broadside. Jeez.
Goodness.
Oh, that
Jeff fell in the fire.
I can't get up. But he was perfectly like the angle that he was when I shot him was perfect because it went straight heart shot.
Yeah.
Like straight through.
And it was right through the shoulders, too.
Right through the shoulders, heart shot. He ran not even 30 yards.
Yep.
And I think him chasing helped because his blood's
was
pumping.
Yeah, he was
so it
pumping.
just helped tremendously.
Yep.
Because as soon as I cut open that cavity, that little sac that holds the lungs and the heart up, it just was full.
Flowed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was full. So I was like, there he is. And then, we drug him out, got him back up here, got some ice in him because I wasn't doing anything with him that day. And then I took the whole day today to cut him up, butcher him up, and all good to go. Now the tree's bare and waiting for another deer to get hung there.
Yeah. Man, I was so pumped. Like, this is kind of, I feel like every hunter feels this. Like, I was extremely pumped for you. Like, I told you just on the phone. Like, extremely pumped. Like, I was, like, fired up. Like, I was, like, I wanted to be up here and with you to celebrate.
Yeah.
But then a little piece of me is like, I'm fucking jealous. Right? Like, you get a really nice buck down during the rut. You have that action. It's like, that's what this part of the season's all about, is, like, getting in that action and getting to see it. Like, we've had tons of guests on that cover the rut. Like Ryan Glitsky, for one.
Yeah.
Who's like, when you're in it, you're in it. And Ethan was in it. And it's
I was in it.
Man, like, I've only really experienced it once. And it's Ethan, the buck you helped me track for like 700 yards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that one, yep.
But like, that was it. And it's like, you get those once in a lifetime type things. But it's like, man, like, to have that and that nice of a buck too, like perfectly symmetrical. Like, I personally would probably get a shoulder mount, but whatever.
No,
man,
I'm going to get a Euro mount for him, and I think I'm going to stick with
for that 10 point.
I'm waiting for that 10 point. That'll be your.
I mean, once you see a picture of this guy, is like it's a super thick. Like, he's.
Oh, his neck is real thick and.
Hold that mic a little closer.
He looks jacked.
There you go.
Yeah, he was what? What do you think he weighed, Dad? At least 160.
I was going to say 170. Yeah.
Because I was like,
160.
is this my 200-pound deer?
Nah, he was. I mean,
wasn't
He
200.
looked healthy. I mean, he was
yeah.
healthy. That's no doubt about that.
Well, in the area, so now we get to Drew and I coming up here now.
Hold on, I want to say one thing about his buck. The coolest thing, in my opinion, was his eye.
Oh,
his eye was missing.
Yeah,
He
was a fighter.
He was in a fight. Yeah, he had to have been in a fight with another deer at some
Did you
point.
get a picture of that?
Yeah.
I might have got it on the video.
Yeah, I might
might
have
have.
him because I took pictures of Ethan standing there.
I didn't realize it until you actually pointed it out, Drew, and I was like, I thought something looked weird with his eye. When I looked at him, I was like, oh, well, maybe he just, like, when Ethan was dragging him out, he popped his eye out or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, that was a fighter buck.
Yeah, I thought you cut it out intentionally. Then I walked to the other side to see the other eye. I'm like, oh, it's right. Okay, his eye is right there. He must have been in a fight or something.
Yeah.
I think that was the coolest part.
That was extremely cool. Like that, because, I mean, you see, I mean, wasn't it, there was something else that he was gouged, wasn't it? Or no, we thought right here, the pre-orbital.
Where the glands are.
The glands.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was definitely in a fight. I would say probably pre-rut. And it looked like it was this year. Like, it wasn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Like, it
makes you
wasn't
think
pussed up.
who did that to him.
Well, hopefully we find him
Yeah.
in the next 2 days.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. But then Drew and I came up. Drew, this is your first time in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So let's hear from you a little bit about what your, I guess, first thoughts were coming to PA. Like, what were you thinking?
Well, this is my second time.
Yeah. When you came to the studio, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
But coming here to actually hunt, it's kind of crazy because you're from where I'm from, Ohio. It's relatively all flat. There's nothing too crazy. Where I'm located, we do have some mountains, but nothing to the extent of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, driving all the way here, I kept looking at the mountains, and I'm like, how in the world do you guys hunt those? I'm like, how do you guys walk up these mountains, and how do you hunt this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's very different and weird, and it's cool. So
Yeah. I mean, it's even like we talked about a little bit on the truck ride back to camp here. But like Ethan and I, when we come out to Ohio, like when you go out of state, period, it's daunting. No matter how you look at it, like if it's big woods like this, it's even more daunting because it's like, where the F do I start?
Yeah.
Because it's like, out in Ohio, it's like we had some kind of like ag fields, like to go off of. In early seasons, like food is what we're looking at right now. Food. But now you're coming up here in the rut. It's like, I don't know where those deer travel.
Yep.
It's like, I got to figure this out. Like, I have only a little 2.5 days to figure this out. So, like, how do I figure it out? You know? Like, it's like, that's why I think it's imperative. Like, coming out here by yourself would be extremely daunting.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you have no knowledge of the area, nothing like that. But, like, Ethan and I are kind of trying to help you as much as possible with that. Because, like, okay, like, this evening, which you can talk about that then once we get to that. But, like, pointing you in the right direction, kind of. Pointing you in a direction that we think that it might be, right? Because, like, you're part of Ohio. They don't really have clear cuts there.
Yeah.
Or they don't have, like, you don't have these hills to worry about. Like, how do deer travel in these hills? You know, do you hunt the bottoms? Do you hunt the tops? Do you hunt side hills? Do you hunt this, that? There's a lot. Like, that's why I personally love hunting the big woods like this.
You never know.
You just never know. Like, you never know. Like, you can run cameras, like, down home in the big woods that I hunt. I can run cameras there. I have, like, probably 6 different buck on camera that are massive. But then up here, like, you won't get anything until, like, one time you'll get a buck. And it's like, okay, that's all I need to see. Yeah. There's a big buck in this area. I'm going to hunt this.
Now I got to go find him.
Mountain right here.
Yeah, now you have to find them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the
hard
headache,
part,
really.
probably.
Because there's times we'll get, like, we won't get any buck on camera, even around here on the property, all summer.
We'll get little guys.
Or like, we'll get the little ones.
Like
the stuff that you can't shoot.
Little fours,
right?
yeah.
And then end of October, November, these nice bucks show up, but they're all around here, like in this area, they're nighttime pictures only, right? So it's like, first off, where did you come from?
Yep.
And second off, where are you during the day?
Yep.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah, because these buck up here just travel. Like, Ethan's buck that he got.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to Drew about this. Like, you have, like, the rut, it takes skill, but yet also, it's like 90% fucking luck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you have to be in the right spot where a doe is remotely close to, and that doe has to run past you to get a shot at this buck.
Yeah, because that doe, like, she was like, I could hear them over the hump. They weren't just in one spot. Like, they were going up here, going down here, up here, down here. When she came over the hump, she could have went up the ridge. She could have went down to the point. She could have went 50 yards ahead of me, and I would have had no shot ever at anything.
Yeah.
She ran 15 yards in front of me, and the buck followed through, and I was like, here we go.
Yep.
I picked the right tree. Like, it literally was
exactly.
It was dumb.
You need to pick the right tree.
And going in later, because by the time I got up to the top, it was light. I could see.
Yep.
I saw the doe. That's literally the only thing that made me go down there.
Yep.
Was seeing those doe.
Yep.
And everything that we've talked about with any guest that talks about the rut is find the doe.
Find the doe.
You find the doe, you'll find the buck.
Yep.
I found the doe. So I was like, there's got to be a buck. Whether it's legal or not, I don't know, because I have never been down here. I just literally got lucky, and there was a legal buck ready to go.
So let me ask you this, because Drew and I, we went back to that spot this evening. Did you walk past the gate at all?
No.
No. Okay.
No, where I parked, I literally just walked right in.
Okay. Because when Drew and I walked to that gate, there's a fresh rub going into that shelter we're cut to the right.
Yep.
With a scrape.
Yep, I saw
the
that
trail.
Coming out Tuesday. I saw that.
So you saw that rub there?
And scrape. Yep, literally right off the trail.
Right.
Maybe 100 yards or so.
Was it a fresh rub?
Yes.
Was it?
It seemed very fresh.
Was there stuff laying on the ground?
I didn't pay I was leaving the woods, so I didn't pay too much attention to it, but the dirt was there wasn't leaves covering it.
Because we saw it, it was like, it looked like it was real fresh.
Then they must have did it again.
And then we looked up further, and there was another rub inside in line with that.
Yeah.
So that's, Drew was like, I'm going in this way.
Yeah. Which I did, and then I found, like 4 to 6 more fresh rubs and scrapes, that entire line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's where I decided.
There's a couple, because the first thing we did was like, I wonder if this is one of the buck that I got on camera or on Monday. Because I had an 8-point on camera.
Okay. Yep.
And we were looking.
He had a white rack, though. He had a whiter rack.
Yeah, and he looks so familiar, but his G2s were taller in the picture.
Okay.
Than the buck that I shot.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's not the right, and it's not that far.
No,
really.
It's like maybe from where your camera was to where you shot him, as a crow flies, it's maybe 4 football fields. That's it.
Yeah, because, well, yeah, I don't know.
Because when you go uphill, it's obviously adding more, but like
all that fun stuff.
As a crow flies, it's probably 400 yards.
Yeah, it wasn't far at all. So I was like, it's possible that he could travel there, but I don't think it's. So there's still him. He's still around. And there's a couple other ones. Though, granted, I haven't seen them since mid-October on camera, but they got to still be
You
here.
have more on camera in that area?
Oh yeah, I sent you the pictures. I thought I did.
Yeah.
No, you just sent me the ones
yeah.
from on Monday.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll show you pictures.
a lot of dope pictures.
Thank you.
I got a couple there. Yeah, I got a couple doe pictures.
You're just holding out. Like you only want to send me 3 pictures.
Yeah, just here you go.
Here's some.
I just got to tease you a little bit. I can't just give you the answers. My goodness. They got to earn it, man. No, I gave you all these waypoints today.
Jesus.
Well, I had because
watch now. Ethan's head's gonna swell.
And
he's gonna be like, "Oh, I shot 2 buck.
Bro,
one
how
out Ohio, one in PA."
How humbled I'm gonna be next year when I eat tag soup.
No, dude, it's one of those things. Like it's 100% right. Like you could have the best year. Like when I went back-to-back years shooting those buck, it was like, man, I'm gonna go multiple years now with shooting bucks. Like it's just one of those things. Like I'm on it. I'm in the game. Yeah. And then you get humbled, and now it's been like it's been 4 years since I shot a PA buck.
Yeah,
I shot other state bucks, but I haven't shot a PA buck. I've had opportunities at them, clearly, like this year. But I fuck it up, and I'm a dumbass. But
that happens.
You gotta find those little twigs and branches and
I could have had an Ohio and PA buck.
Yeah,
we
could have doubled up in
tell
2
us about
states.
that. What happened with that?
So I did record. Like I had a special thing recorded. I was going to release it, but I didn't know when to release it. But so synopsis of what happened. I went to a spot that I've been holding out on because it was a really good spot for a long time. I was like, I wanted the wind right. I want the temperature right. I want everything right to go in this area. Go in there, go into this area for the first time and get in there. First of all, the morning, I talked to you a little bit before about this, but like the morning was absolute shit. Forgot my bow at the truck. Had to go back, get my bow. Get in there. Can't find a tree. I'm like, what tree do I set up on? I'm thinking I'm going on one tree. As I'm getting in that tree, I see two guys walk past me on the main trail. And I'm like, this is not the tree I have to get into. So I move to like 22 yards from, I know it's 22 yards from that tree that I was going to set up in. And I get up in that, I lose my camera arm as I'm walking over to this tree because I have it like those, what are they? Those ties? Those night eyes. Night eyes gear ties. I had it tied to my saddle, so I'm walking around with it because I'm like, okay, I put it back here, so when I get up there, I can just take it off and put it on. Lose that. I'm like, I go to grab it. I'm like, where's my camera arm? So I get down, go try and find my camera arm. Find my camera arm. It's sitting straight up and down like this in the 22 yards from my tree that I know. Damn it. So I go back, I hang it up, get everything set up. As I'm getting everything finished up, it's getting light out. Like I can actually see things around me. I'm setting up there. Wind's still good. Thermal's still good. Thermal's dropping. The cool thing about this area, so all the thermals are dropping, but the wind was like, it was a slight wind to my back. So like it was creating a funnel. So like I was like, it was swirling right on top of me. Like I could feel it the whole time. And then 8 o'clock comes. I hear a bunch of running up on top. And the doe comes down, and her young one comes down. This doe literally runs right to me, 3 yards, right underneath my stand, just looking up at me. And I'm like filming her as like I'm not making eye contact, but I'm just like looking through my camera. and like zooming in and out, but I'm not moving. I'm shaking like right now because I'm a little cold. So I'm shaking, and I'm zooming in and out. She just stands there, just keeps looking at me like does the head bob, and then like she just turns around, walks away, gets it 22 yards away, and walks down the hill. She's trying to catch my scent because like she knows I'm in this tree that has no cover.
Yeah, she knows the gigs is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no fucking cover on me.
No, you didn't.
I'm like, this is a terrible tree to be in. I should not be in this tree. No trees behind me, no trees to my right, no trees to my left. Like I'm in a just straight like flagpole. I'm a fucking flag in the in the woods.
A flag.
Yeah, I'm just a flag. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is a terrible spot. I'm not gonna see anything here. This main trail is like 30 yards from me that people hike on. I'm like, I'm not going to see anything here.
Yeah.
Like it's October 25th.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to, at 9:30, I'm getting down. I'm going to move.
Yep.
So they come running down. She walks up. She never blows. She just goes up, makes her way up to where she came from. And then I do a few grunts and bleats. Like little can bleats, so not like the estrus bleats, but the little can. And I let it go. Like 10 minutes goes by, and I hear stuff up on the mountain beside me, but it's so thick I can't see. I'm like, and I never scouted this front of the mountain before because it was all rocks. That I thought anyway. But then I'm like looking up there, I'm trying to glass, and then I see squirrels running all around. I'm like, it's probably just a squirrel.
Yep.
I see like 20 squirrels that morning. I'm like, it's just two squirrels running around chasing each other. Yeah. And then like I hear it again, and then I look behind me and I see like a rack. Like all I see is like the rack, and I'm like, then I hear, murr, murr. I'm like, that's a buck. Like it clicks in my head. I'm like that's a buck. Yeah. So like I turn the camera on. I thought I pressed record. Turns out I double tapped record instead of single tapped. But I had the GoPro going.
That
so, backup on me, not on him.
Yeah.
So he's walking up through this thick stuff. My arrow falls out of my rest. So like it makes a loud cling, but I catch it with my two fingers as it goes down, and I'm able to re-click it on as he's at
22 yards.
No, not yet. not yet. He's at he was down behind me a little bit, but as it falls, his head picks up and looks up at me, but then his head goes down really quick and goes back up. But then there's a little knob beside me that I was originally going to set up on at this V tree. I was going to set up, but bark was too noisy and stuff like that. He gets behind there. I draw back. He presses the knob. He gets behind the pine tree, and I'm holding it there because I know it's 22 yards right there because I arranged it multiple times. As everyone heard, 22 yards is obviously a good number that solid. I've been talking about. Yep. So he gets on top, and I'm like, you need to take 2 more steps, and I'm releasing this fucking arrow into you. And he's a buck I've had on camera, and he's a big 8. With brown bases, white rack up on top, G2s longer than Ethan's G2s. I'd say probably 12 to 13-inch G2s, and he takes a step. I don't have to merp him. Nothing. He stops perfectly. I release the arrow. Release is perfect. No drop. No pull. No punch. Nothing. I hear thump, and I see the arrow stick in him, and he runs up the hill. And he goes up the hill, and I see him like going up there. And I'm like, on the camera, I have it on camera. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah.
I was like, this is a terrible spot, terrible morning. There's no way I should be remotely close to shooting this type of buck in this area right now. And I call my wife, FaceTime her. I'm crying on the phone. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like. I can't talk. Nothing's coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, FaceTime Ryan, FaceTime Jimmy, Ethan's not answering his phone, even though he said, I'll call me if you get one because I'll answer. I'll come help you.
I was in the
Never
shower.
wants to answer my phone. I call him 4 times. Doesn't answer my phone. And then I'm like, I got to go see if there's blood over here. Mm-hmm. Like, I know I hit him because I saw it hit. Like, to me, it was like back of lung, liver hit.
Okay.
Like center mass. Yeah. Like Cody DeQuisto always says, like, aim center mass, you're either going to hit guts, if you aim forward, you're going to hit lungs, heart. If you aim right there, you're going to hit liver.
Yep.
I was like, it hits exactly where I was aiming at, 22 yards. It was liver. Mm-hmm. And I get up, I'm like, oh, man, that's good blood. Yeah. Like, that's really, like, good blood. Like, he's bouncing off trees. I see blood on trees. I see blood on rocks, like, spraying on rocks. I'm like, he's up on top of this hill. He's dead up there. So then I go back out. I have a long trike out. I'm not going to say how many miles because certain people listen to this that know how many can calculate miles, and I'm not going to tell them where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because I
20 miles.
Yeah, 20 miles. Let's just say that. But go back out, meet Ethan at the truck. We go back in with the jet sled, and we start tracking, and we lose blood 80 yards in.
Like it just stopped.
It just stopped. Like, what's going on? So we grid search a little bit here and there, and I find tracks that, like, kind of like he's, like, just walking. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, and the thing that pissed me off is, like, no dog trackers got back to me. So it's like I downloaded the app they want us to download. I posted something on the Facebook page that they want us to post. No dog trackers got back to me like 48 hours. No one got back to me.
Have you heard of drone recovery?
We can't use them in PA.
I thought you said this was okay, never mind.
Yeah, you can't use them on public land in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's I feel like in last resort, I would have gladly used that just to know if he's dead or alive, like one of those things. It would have been nice to know because I feel like my gut is still telling me that he's dead, but I can't.
You don't know.
I don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
And then Ethan had to go. He had
we were out there till what, 3 o'clock?
We were out there till 3. So I shot him at 8. We were out there till about 2 o'clock because then we had an hour walk out.
Yeah.
So then I went back in there with Jimmy and Ryan from Drawback Outdoors, and we grid searched till 8 o'clock at night, and we couldn't find anything.
Dang.
Like, I was there I shot him at 8, so I left the woods at 8, and I couldn't find anything. Like, it's been eating me up since. Like, I have lost so much confidence after that shot, after not being able to find him. Like, my confidence, I went out that next Saturday up to my parents' cabin. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be out in the woods. I literally was like, the only thing on my mind was that buck. And then that next Saturday, when I went out, the only thing on my mind after 8 o'clock was that buck. Like, I had zero confidence in anything I did. It's just one of those, you don't know, you won't know that feeling until you go through that. Because what you saw and what you're seeing as you're tracking this buck, it's like, your mind can't put that together.
Yeah.
It's like, why I'm not seeing blood? Like, why is he not dead?
Why is he not dead at the top of
We
hill?
didn't bump him. We didn't do anything like that.
No,
like,
we heard nothing walking through.
We waited till 11 o'clock when we got back in there.
Yeah.
To really start tracking.
It was a couple hours before we even got back in to start looking, so which would have been, even with a liver shot, that was plenty of time for him to bed down and die.
And they say liver shots is like 200 yards they'll bed down. Mm-hmm. So it's like we got to 60, 80 yards uphill even. Mm-hmm. And it was pumping. Like, it was good blood.
Oh yeah, we didn't have
piles of blood. And then just stopped at a log. One drop after that log, and then poof. Yeah. It's like literally
and no arrow.
I did find the arrow.
Oh, did
Jimmy
you?
and Ryan, it was a pass through.
Oh wow!
It was a pass through with a dead meat.
Yeah.
And the arrow broke. So it was like we smelled it like it was blood the whole way down the arrow. It's like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
It happens, man. That's nature, you know.
Yeah, it just sucks. Like,
I bet.
I guarantee you I'll go back in there. Like, because the one thing that people have been asking me, and I kind of get irritated with it, to be honest, and if anyone listens to this, which I know you will, that have been asking me this, how big was he? Mm-hmm. If it was a doe, I would still feel this way. If I couldn't find it, if I know it was a good shot, I would feel this way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's just like, the size of the buck or size of the deer shouldn't matter about if you can't recover it. It's like it's
In fact, you shot it.
yeah, it was a
You're
good
so
shot.
confident that it's dead,
Yeah,
and you cannot find it.
right,
Like, where could you have gone?
right. I mean, even like Saturday, I grid searched some more.
Mm-hmm.
I went further in, like 200 yards more in, and didn't find anything. It's like, man, like what happened?
And not a single dog tracker got back
Nope.
to you or anything?
Nope.
And this was on the weekend?
No, it was on a Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, it was a
So it
Friday,
wasn't
yeah.
even a Saturday. It was a Friday before it got busy on a Saturday. So like, no one got back to me. The thing that irritated me is like they declined my post on Facebook because I posted on the app. It was like, don't you think it'd be better to post it on both spots instead of just one?
Increase your odds of
Increase
getting
the odds
someone
of
to reach
finding
out
someone?
to you and
Yeah.
find a possibly dead deer.
Yeah. Which maybe I should have like described it better. Like maybe that's why, but like still it's like if I'm saying I hit a buck and there's blood, like come out, like help me.
I mean, that's a good business opportunity if anyone wants to get into dog
Yeah.
tracking. Like,
Yeah.
pick up the slack, right there. You could be making a killing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was disheartening, but like today kind of boosted my confidence just a little bit just with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Drew and I went in. I walked the long way around. For some reason, I like to do that stuff. I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I hate myself for doing it.
It's a good workout.
Well, the way out was a good workout. The way in was like an easy route.
Oh,
It was like just walking this trail the whole way in.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a porcupine. Got like 5 feet of that porcupine. Said, I'm probably going to walk around you. I don't want to get needles in my face.
Yeah. You could have shot them. They're in season.
Are they?
They're in season.
Yeah, they're in season. They have a season.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're in.
son of
Yep.
a...
They are.
Yeah, you could
Do I
have
need a special license for that?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I think
my
just a
God.
I still can't believe you guys have porcupines here.
Oh, yeah.
I
no.
could have shot
Yeah.
a porcupine.
One
yep,
walked
point
right
blank.
up the hill not even a month ago.
opening day.
Oh,
Or no,
no, that wasn't
it
opening
wasn't
day.
opening day, was it? It
No.
was not too long ago.
They're good
End of
meat,
September.
too.
I've
They're
never
really
eaten-
good meat.
I've never eaten a porcupine.
Well,
Shit.
we were putting the shelter together.
Oh yeah, so it would
We
have
were
been
putting the
September.
shelter together.
September.
And, he just came up over the hill and walked up
Yeah.
past me.
How big are they? Are they just like...
Oh, they can be monsters. I mean,
They can be 20
This one
25
was
pounds.
like this big. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can
it
get
was like,
easy 20 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to aim, though.
Yeah.
I'd feel like I just aim at his neck. So, like,
Somewhere in
hopefully
there.
this hits you.
Yeah, this.
But yeah,
somewhere.
he was literally like maybe. I mean, I was taking selfies with him. That's how close he was.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
For future reference, do they get aggressive towards you?
No,
If,
they'll wander off.
oh, okay.
Yeah, if you get when I got that close and I started trying to make noise at that point. I was
Yeah.
like, I tried kicking rocks a little bit too.
Just
and then he was
no.
like
Oh, he puffed up.
Yeah.
puffed
pumped
up.
up. Then I was like, I'll go this way.
Yeah, like, ooh. I got a porcupine up on camera up on top of the quarry.
Mm-hmm.
2 coyotes trying to go at it,
Oh,
Yeah.
and they ended up giving up and leaving because the porcupine was just like,
you got to
okay.
roll him over to kill him.
Yep.
Soft spot.
And the
soft
only
part of the body.
the only
underneath.
animal that's fairly successful with doing that is the fisher.
Yep.
And we have one of those somewhere in the area because I saw it opening day of archery.
Wow.
Yeah, which is the first one I've ever seen,
Wow.
which is like cool.
So, anyway,
Yes.
so after I saw porcupine, I was going to a spot. I literally put a waypoint. I was like, I put it green. I was like, point of interest, pretty much on all X,
Right.
because it was like a flat. So it was a steep hill by a draw, by a drainage, and a flat area. And from talking to some people that how deer travel, it's like this is a good way. They take the easiest route, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll get down in there. I get down to the spot that I actually want to get to. There's like 3 scrapes right there. I'm like, okay, well, I spray some stuff in it, put some Maniac, put some, what's the rope scent, some doe astrus in there. And I was like, well, this tree right here has 5 trunks coming out of it. So I was like, that's a perfect tree to get in. So I got in that one. First time I ever could find a perfect tree to get into. Set up wrong, obviously. I'm not good at hunting, okay?
We just like to talk about it.
Just like talk about it. Still, I was looking at this tree for like 10 minutes, like, which trunk should I climb? Like I was like,
Well, yeah, you
how
can't
can I
get the wrong one.
I was like, can I get in this middle one right here? I was like, I gotta go down below this tree, come up, and get inside of it. And I'm like, this is the easiest one. I'll just go up this one. So I went up this one, and like my back was to another one. Actually, when I let the tether down a little bit, I could actually rest my back against it. I kind of just like sit there.
Sounds so good.
It was good until you have a buck come behind you.
Oh yeah.
So I do a few grunts, like pretty much enact the chasing. So like I do what Ethan was describing at the very beginning, where he gets frustrated. I did a frustration with some doe bleats as they were going. So I flipped the doe estrus can, and I was doing the chasing stuff. And then one thing I would recommend is if you do those, after you're done with it, do a little bit of extra like blowing into the doe estrus one. It sounds more realistic, and it gets a little louder.
I heard that.
Yeah.
If you blow into
Yep.
it. Yeah.
And then, so then I'm sitting there. It's like 5 minutes goes by, and I hear crunching. So I'm like, okay, turn the GoPro on, turn the camera on.
Single click.
Well, no, just power it on. I don't know what's coming yet. I don't know where it's coming from, but I like hear it behind me, and I look behind me, and it's like thick, like those little trees.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I see a flick of a tail. I'm like, was that a deer? Was that a leaf? I don't know what that was. But then I can see like in my mind, like I can see a rack. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's actually a deer or not. Like it looks like one, but I can't tell.
Buck fever kind of.
It could be, yeah. So like, and then then it moves, and I'm like, was that a buck? Like I'm questioning everything in my head right now because I'm like, I can't find him a binos. I can't do anything with it. I'm like, where is it? So then I see it move again, and I see a rack on it. I'm like, okay, now is it a legal buck?
Right.
So I'm like looking, and all I can see is 4 at one point. I'm like, okay. And then I'm still trying to figure it out. I have the camera pointing that way and actually with the microphone on so I can actually hear it. And it's grunting the whole time. It's like, murr, murr, murr.
Yeah.
And then eventually it goes down, starts going downhill. At this point, it's like, this is kind of funny to say. It's at 22 yards at this point.
Yeah. The magic number, man.
I hate my life. So it starts going downhill, and it gets behind like 2 V trees, and it's like standing on this flat, and it's like standing there doing its little dance. Like it's like with its leg, like when they're peeing the scrape, it's peeing in a scrape right there. I'm like, that's such an odd place for a scrape. Like it's not licking branch, nothing. Like it's just literally looking straight forward. It's like the Kevin Hart thing where it's like the ostrich head was straight forward, or his body was straight forward, but he was looking this way as he was running at me.
Yes.
It was like that kind of thing. But he was looking straight forward, just peeing straight down, not looking at a licking branch, nothing like that. And then he just goes downhill, out of my life. And then I hear him chasing down below a little bit. But yeah, that was my excitement for the evening. And it kind of when I saw that, I was like, I kind of got my confidence back up a little bit. Because like the last couple of times I haven't really just sat enough to actually see something or have something happen. It was like I just been like, I'm just not mentally here. Like this was like, I'm mentally here. I'm ready for this. I'm here. I'm doing this. Like I have no option. I have no cell service. I can't like scroll my phone. Can't do anything like that. It's like, this is what I need right now. Just mentally, I need to get in the game or else I'm out of it.
Get your head in the game.
Right. Yeah.
Well, in order to boost your confidence, like what are your goals for this year? Like what are you trying to do to boost your confidence back up?
I have a doe tag for this area. So I told myself Friday evening and all day Saturday, I'm shooting a doe. If I see a doe, I'm shooting a doe. I know everyone says during the rut, don't shoot a doe.
Shooting a doe.
I'm going to shoot a doe.
Yeah.
Because I need my confidence back up.
Absolutely.
After that.
Unless she's running.
Yeah,
Unless
she's
she's
running.
She's
I'm not taking it. No.
And there's a buck chasing her.
Yeah,
and you go for the buck.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
unless
they're-
it's spike.
Yeah, true.
But
If
you
it's
never
under.
know. Shit happens fast,
That's
That
what
is
I was
true.
telling myself the whole time. I was like, it was like 4:45, and I was like, it could happen any second.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you keep telling yourself that too, it kind of like helps your mentality. It's like it could happen any second. Like like that buck literally came out of nowhere, pretty much. Like I didn't hear him till he was like 32 yards, 30-some yards from me. Like it could happen any second.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Because even like, talking about how fast it can happen, like when that buck was chasing the doe.
Yep.
It seemed like forever.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, he's over here, he's over
When
there.
you're in the moment, yeah.
When you're in the moment, but it's like that might have been 2 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Between when they started running and he came up and I got the shot off. It might have been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it was like a 5-10 minute ordeal.
Yeah.
But it was just that quick.
Ethan, you found a good spot because Drew's going to tell us about his sit this evening.
Oh, do tell.
Well, I mean, I essentially sat right where you sat up.
Do you find the tree? They have some little groove marks in it from
Yeah.
my hang on and everything. So you might have found the tree.
I literally.
That would be funny, actually.
It is daunting. Like Pennsylvania, there is no way. Like I was sitting there the entire time trying to I'm like, what do these deer feed on? You know, like I'm looking around for acorns. I don't see really, acorns around or anything. And I'm looking at the ferns, and I'm like, do deer eat the ferns? I'm like, because I'm so used to woody browse and all this green stuff on the floor in the woods and a ton of acorns. That's where I hunt. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I didn't really see anything too much. I was actually, throughout the entire hunt, I was actually surprised about how quiet it was. Like, it is, in these mountains, it is fucking pin drop silent. Like, it's insane.
Pin drop in the woods and you hear it.
Today wasn't a windy day.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a windy day, and if a deer would have walked past you, you wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sometimes the wind will just hide everything. Mm-hmm. And when you get a day like today, and you're standing up there and there's no wind going, it's like you said, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
That's how quiet it is when the wind doesn't blow.
Yeah. You hear the slightest thing, you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
That was okay.
And then you're self-conscious. You don't want to move as much, and you rub your jacket or something. You're
Everything
like, oh, crap.
heard you in a mile radius.
Yeah.
Like, I just ruined my hunt.
Yeah.
I need to fart right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till this wind picks up. I mean, it'll sound like a grunt.
You hope it's going to be a silent one. It's like,
Just wake
Church house creeper.
Turn your hearing aids up.
But yeah, I mean, my hunt, there was nothing too crazy other than, once it started getting, probably 15 minutes before sunset or so. I can't remember the exact time, but, I saw a little bit of action. I couldn't quite make out what was going on, but I could hear grunt. I could hear, the running around and stuff, and I got my bow ready and kind of just faded away, but, that's exciting. It's better than sitting in the woods and not seeing anything for the entire day. So,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's pretty cool up here. It's so different from Ohio.
yeah.
And I think that was probably the best part of my hunt was just, seeing the mountains and just for some reason the quietness was insane. No cell service. You're just sitting there by yourself. There is no distractions.
Yep.
I kind of wonder if I have ADHD or something because I'm sitting there trying to distract myself. I'm like, it was kind of crazy, but that was
maybe
cool.
before you go back to Ohio, we might try to see if we can find some elk.
Okay.
You can see some elk.
Yeah.
Because I know they're around the area.
Say we should go spotting.
Yeah.
Because here you can actually go spotting, unlike Ohio.
Yeah.
You can't spot.
The only
in
time
Ohio,
you
right?
can't.
By spotlight.
Oh, you can't
Spotlight.
spot in hunting
Spotlight?
season.
No, rifle season.
Rifle season.
Rifle
Yes.
season is the only time you can't spotlight in PA. Archery season.
But
you
I
can
know
spotlight.
there's elk in the area, so if
Yeah.
we get out there before it gets dark, sometime before you leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by spotlight, though? Like, when I think of spotlight, you shine the deer and you shoot it. You can do that here in Pennsylvania?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's
this is
called
okay.
poaching.
That's called poaching.
That's why it's illegal during rifle season.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking driving around the car with a spotlight with no weapons in the vehicle at all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just looking.
Other than a crossbow that's completely silent.
Yeah.
No.
Never know.
Just kidding, everyone.
Kidding.
We're not. Yeah. Stop.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
little things here.
All right. So that is, I guess, day one. Even though Ethan was here
This is day
prior.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Technically day 5 for me.
Okay. So this is day one for Drew and I.
Bless you. It's coming. No, there it is.
Nope,
You're
I'm
welcome.
good. I sucked it back in.
You're welcome.
All right, so day 1 in the books. Hear from you, or stay tuned for day 2 for, I guess, the next week after this releases.
Yeah, a whole week from now.
See you guys.
All right.
Ethan, give us a clap. There you go.